Hello, 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 and welcome back to our Crown Lane Live. We are doing our short interview now with the wonderful Elle Chante. Elle, the first thing that we wanted to ask you is, this is a really unique sort of setup that we've got here, having our own cocktail bar and coffee shop next door to the studio. What people outside probably don't realise is that when you're in here, you can't hear a thing. You can't hear what's going on out there. We can just hear each other. So a lot of artists that we've had on so far say they can't hear everybody clapping, and it's quite a strange environment to sort of play to. So how did you find that?
It was nice, honestly. Like they were going for it out there, so I had a little tap, Yeah. I appreciate you, audience out there. Thank you.
I'm sure they appreciate you as well. I wanted to talk about your instrumentation because you're a multi-instrumentalist and it's incredibly impressive what we're witnessing you doing. So can you tell us a little bit about your instruments that you play and your setup that you've had today? It's quite unique.
Yeah, so I'm like self-taught with everything. So I started off playing guitar and then just kind of did a strange move through different things. I was just like, oh, I like the sound of that. I'll give that a try. Like, oh, wouldn't it be cool to play drums and sing? Oh, yeah, I'll give it a go. Like, basically through all of my instruments, I always I like the looping process and stuff, but and I like tech, but I was like, I just can't deal with like a laptop on stage, and that's why I kind of got the sample pad, because I was just like one glass of water away from certain death. Like I just couldn't deal with it. So yeah, and it was really hard at the beginning. I have no coordination, so but it's working out all right now.
Well, you fooled us because you're doing so many things at once, and maybe for people who aren't quite as into music might not realise that you were actually live looping when you were recording just then as well.
Yeah.
What was the box that you were using to do that?
Oh yeah, so that's a TC Helicon Voice Live Touch 2. They actually don't make them anymore, which makes me really anxious. So I take it everywhere in like a weather sealed box. But yeah, and it's a live effects processor and a looper, and I think that's most of it, to be fair. But yeah, it's a box of many things. I feel like I only use little bits of it compared to like all the stuff it can do. But yeah, it's good fun.
Well, it sounded amazing. And you can't forget your light up drumsticks, which is my favourite part of the whole thing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So if you wouldn't mind, it would be really nice to hear a little bit about the songs that you performed for us today. Sort of, if you can tell us a little bit about them and the sort of route that you came down to writing them and the inspiration behind them.
Yeah, so I think they all came from like really different places. So I think I actually wrote Soul for as part of a mental health event like ages ago. I think it was like over like 7 years ago or something like that. And that was back when I was only playing guitar. Music for me was always kind of like therapy. So it's always kind of come like very like from myself and my experiences and stuff. But yeah, Soul came about in that way. And then the Dishonesty was from the play that we did, which I like sound designed and did some tracks for. And it was a poetry and a spoken word and music piece. And then Bound and Bound, I'm pretty sure that was just me tinkering in my bedroom, to be honest. It was no project or anything, it was just kind of like messing around. And then Hazy was a really complicated one, but also to do with mental health, because I have complex post-traumatic stress disorder, and I'm like quite open about talking about it, and some of the like feelings that can come with that are like can feel quite disturbing. Like part of my PTSD, one of the reasons why I got diagnosed with PTSD is because I have like recurring dreams, recurring nightmare dreams, and I made that track to kind of sound like how it feels like when I was in those. I'm a very open book. All my music means something to me.
Amazing.
Yeah, thanks for asking about them. Yeah.
No, that's incredible. It really sort of shines a light on now reflecting on that last song that you did. It's an incredible backstory.
Thank you.
It sounds like it was staged, but I didn't know that. That's beautiful, absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
I wanted to very quickly speak about Attitude is Everything. Because, like I said at the very beginning, Chris and I met you at an Attitude is Everything event. And if people who don't know what this organisation is, it's an organisation that sort of shines a light on people with disabilities in the music industry. You were performing at that event.
Yeah.
And then me and Chris ran down and tried to catch you afterwards. But you are actually an ambassador for Attitude is Everything. So can you tell us anything about your role as ambassador?
Yeah, so I'm a co-ambassador for Attitude is Everything and the Featured Artists Coalition. And like between them, I've done like work kind of talking about my experience as a disabled artist and person, and kind of like barriers to the music industry, because Attitude is Everything is really trying to break down those barriers, like how can we have better access for disabled artists. They've done some like really good campaigns like Just Ask, which is about venues, like asking people kind of essentially like if they need help, rather than having to like go to that venue and be like, do you have this and do you have that, like, things that are really helpful and like make a massive difference in the industry. But yeah, like I've kind of done like talks about stuff. Honestly, it's funny because I feel like I'm just being myself, but like publicly, like, hello, this is what life is like for me. But for people that aren't disabled, maybe it can be like quite shattering, I suppose, to hear like that we go through so many struggles, or there's so many other things that we have to like consider to try and make a career in the arts. Yeah, I'm really thankful for the platform that they give me to talk about stuff, especially because I have invisible illnesses. So I've got something called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and postural static tachycardia syndrome, as well as mental health. And it means that a lot of my health issues often get overlooked. Yeah. And it's really nice to be able to like raise awareness for like variable and invisible illnesses that aren't always like people can't always see. So yeah.
Thank you very much. And a last question for you is just about, for anybody who's been watching the Crown Lane Live or anybody watching on YouTube and want to keep in touch with you and your music, first of all, how can we do that? How can we find you? And also, what's the sort of next plans going forward for you as a musical artist? What are we looking out for?
So you can find me on like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter at Elle Chante UK, which is spelled ELLECHANTE UK. Yeah, so please come find me there. I'm on Spotify and stuff. So yeah, some of the tracks are on Spotify if you'd like to take a listen after this. And in terms of what's coming next, I have some really interesting projects. 0771492. I have some really interesting projects coming up soon. Kind of tinkering in the cinematic vein, so that's interesting. But yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming along and being such an amazing artist for us to work with, and spotlighting the disability in the music industry and just blowing it out the water, really. We really appreciate it. In one moment, we're going to go through into Metronome and meet everybody. You can meet your audience. Just before we do that, I just need to let everybody know that our next Crown Lane Live is on the 2nd of June, and it's a group called Before Breakfast. Don't let the name fool you. We're doing it in the evening. But it's the first time we're going to be doing a Crown Lane Live on a Friday evening. So make sure you get your tickets for that. I want to thank the Jack Lonergan Foundation and Sontronics, who are our partners. But otherwise, all that's left to say is a big thank you to everybody in the room who's going to be coming through as well. So you can give them a big clap. And also to Elle Chante. So we're going to make our way through to come and see you now.